If you want to get strong, you have to rest at least 15 minutes between sets. At least that's if you're the best in the world. If you're not the best in the world, hear me out, and maybe this will help you improve your training. In the end, when we train, we want to get the most return for whatever time we're in the gym. And rest times are, well, there's sort of a useless time in between what we feel like is actually doing work. When we think about fitness in general, we sort of just go back to like Richard Simmons and Jane Fonda days where you're just moving about, heart rate's up, how many calories did you burn? But it's much more nuanced than that. And the rest times are actually accomplishing something, but let's dive a little bit into what they're actually accomplishing. So when we're exercising, when we're resistance training, it is inherently anaerobic, meaning that we are exercising with the absence of oxygen. We then produce lactate. Lactate then causes our muscles to feel that burn. We go through a period of time after our set where we're out of breath. This is called the oxygen debt. We have to build back the oxygen debt so that we can clear out the lactates from our muscles, we get that burn gone, and then we can exercise again. If rest times become too short, it's going to be as simple as your load decreases so much to the point where you're actually not doing anything. So it could boil down to simple math. If you do 5 sets and you rest 30 seconds between sets and the weight is diminished 50%, well, you're then maybe 25% the total load that you would have done if you rested 60 seconds or 90 seconds. If we work on the mechanical tension, the muscular tension model of building muscle, this is inherently going to be a problem. There's an enzymatic stress, there's an oxidative stress on the muscle when we don't have the proper rest times, and there are benefits for that we'll talk about, but it's certainly not going to help you build muscle. And it's also definitely not going to help you get stronger. Which really brings me to my main point. Rest times are always in the context of what are we trying to accomplish. There are really 4 goals when it comes to resistance training. We could be working on our strength and or power. We could be working on building muscle. We could be working on our muscular endurance, or we could be working on our aerobic fitness. Now, we're mostly going to forget aerobic fitness because that's the only time that rest periods are not useful really in any way. We want to keep the heart rate up the whole time. If we're working on muscular endurance, the goal is to create an oxidative stress. There's 2 elements to muscular endurance. One is the oxygen getting from the air to your lungs into the bloodstream with your heart pumping around to the muscles, and then when it gets to the muscular level, we have the second part, which is that muscle taking up the oxygen, using the oxygen, and being able to use that to replenish the oxygen debt. There are 2 elements then we could train. We could train our heart and our lungs by long, slow, steady state cardio. We could train our muscles through things like HIIT training or high intensity resistance training. The important thing is, think of your body as like the dumbest thing you could ever communicate to. It takes care of itself really, really well, but we want to place the stress on it that we want it to improve. And so when you're working on muscular endurance, we want rest times to be as low as possible in a realistic way. So anywhere from 30 to 60 seconds is an appropriate rest time for muscular endurance. Your loads will be diminished. It will not be best for power, strength, or building muscle, but it will be best for upregulating the enzymes to take the oxygen out of the blood and use that for productive energy. Now, we then get to building muscle, and this is actually a really interesting one because when you look at the research, it's not really as clear as you would think. You might go, well, according to the textbooks, 1 to 2 minutes, 10 to 12 reps, that's the muscle building area, or 8 to 12 reps. But it's just not true. Really what it boils down to is how hard are you working and if you're going close to failure. Now, there is a sweet spot here. We don't want to be resting so short that our loads are completely diminished, but the stress on the muscle does cause it to grow. So generally speaking, anything greater than 1 minute is going to be something that's going to help you build muscle. You can then overlay this with your accessory goals. Why are you wanting to build muscle? If you're a bodybuilder, then potentially over time, you're going to change your rest times just to give a new stimulus. If you're a powerlifter or a strongman, you might go for longer rest times, even if you're doing 10 reps, because we want to use as high of load repeatedly as we can. If you're looking for muscular endurance, say you're a American football and repeated sprints is very important to you, or you're some sort of aerobic athlete, you could then have rest times 60 to 90 seconds, which is going to give you more recovery than the 30 to 60 seconds of muscular endurance training. but you're still going to get the benefit of higher loads relative to your 30-second rest time. Now this gets us to strength, which is obviously my bread and butter as the world's strongest man. And if you look at textbooks, it will say somewhere between 2 and 5 minutes is optimal for your strength to come back. But this is really completely incorrect, or at least not fully correct. 2 to 5 minutes is a reasonable time frame to be able to recover from resistance training. In a lot of circumstances, you could lift again. Let's say it's something like a bicep curl or tricep extension. You give yourself 3-4 minutes, your breath is back, you've repaid the oxygen debt, your nervous system is ready to go, and you can lift again. But we haven't talked about nervous system at all to this point. The reason being, if we're training for muscular endurance or for muscle gain, we're really not taxing out the nervous system as much as if we're lifting really heavy loads in compound lifts. Compound lifts being squat, deadlift, overhead press, leg press, things that are moving multiple joints and you're using really, really heavy load, particularly when the load is going down through your shoulders, whether that's via your hands or resting on your shoulders itself. The nervous system takes an absolute beating. Now, this is one of those circumstances where if you lift a 1 rep max and then you go to lift 80% of the 1 rep max 5 minutes later, it might not even come off the floor. It might not even begin to move. It might feel so heavy. And this is completely due to nervous system sensitivity. And this is when we get into the nuanced bit of your rest times for your strength training. If you're in an off season and you're lifting things that are not the heaviest things you've ever lifted, your effort levels are moderate, as in submaximal, you can get away with 2 to 5 minute rest periods, and that's okay. And you can get a lot more volume out of that. But if we're in season, you're lifting things you've never lifted before, you're hitting personal bests, well, your nervous system is not ready for that. It has not adapted to that stage, and you're gonna put a huge demand on that system, and it needs time to recover. Some of the most interesting research is around the time for nervous system sensitivity to come back, where you're gonna get your peak power output, your neural drive, you're just absolutely ready to go again. And if you do a maximal effort, the amount of time that it's gonna take is 20 to 25 minutes for your nervous system to recover. So when I say you should rest at least 15 minutes between sets, context dependent, yeah, maybe you should. But only if you're going for maximal strength, you've heavy strength trained for a long time, you've worked on peak strength for a long time, and you're doing loads that you've never done before. Under this circumstance, you do need to rest for 15 minutes, and that will get you to peak strength. And this is probably when you watch a guy like me train for competition, that's probably the thing that you would note the most is between sets, there's a lot of just hanging out time. And the reality is, it's just because you're not ready. You just can't do it, and you know you can't do it. You got to wait and wait and wait and wait. And this is a semi-trainable quality, but you just can't escape the principles of basic human physiology. So use all that, take that, wrap it into your training, apply that to yourself, and decide what should your rest times actually be. It's a really common question, but in the end, unless you are one of the top in the world at whatever quality you're trying to train, just know that the primary variable for you getting to your goals is getting in the gym, 1, consistently, and 2, working hard. And if you do that, you will achieve your goals. You'll never hear of someone who goes, I want to be an endurance athlete and I accidentally became a bodybuilder. It's not going to happen. It's just simply not. So get in the gym consistently, work hard, apply those rest times, enjoy your training, stay consistent, and as always, lift heavy and be kind. If you're ever totally lost, I do sell programs. We'll pop the link in the description, but that should give you a really good foundation on how long to rest for your training. Thanks a lot, guys. Lift heavy, be kind, and we'll catch you next time.